Alright guys, you know what time it is. It's TWAB time. This week at Bungie. Let's see what Bungie has to say this week. This week at Bungie, we're talking about some upcoming material changes, diving deep into some player-submitted questions with our weapons team, and addressing some of the misinformation floating around regarding recent account bans. What's that? That sounds like some excitable changes on the horizon. Excuse me. But we need to get there first. So, what about the here and now? You may be wondering. Glad you did that. The wondering parts for the immediate future were able to share a closer look at the upcoming economic changes coming to Destiny 2 Season 19, with bigger, more changes around the corner. There are a few areas that the team is tightening up to prepare, but before we offer a small taste of what's to come, we want to take a moment and talk about the recent account bans. It's a sensitive issue, and we want to be transparent and ensure that the information you have is correct. Alright, account bans update from our security team. Here to talk about the most recent wave of account bans and restrictions is our product security team. Before getting into explanations, we apologize to the impacted players up front. Our job is to protect our players, and our team unfortunately did the opposite this past week. When mistakes are made, transparency is important. We hope the information below vague as it may be in order to avoid teaching cheat developers about our systems provides insight into what happened. During the development of one of our cheater detections, a combination of requirements was set for banning particularly class of cheaters. We utilized specific signatures that those types of players generate. Early last week, we started seeing an increase in appeals and began investigating. Once we identified the problem with the signature, we immediately unbanned everyone or anyone we could identify as impacted. We then began reviewing recent security actions with fine-tooth comb and continued to unban people based on the review of appeals on our own investigations were appropriate. Can't talk right now. Here are some points to consider when discussing the most recent wave. The number of accounts caught cheating in other ways is much larger than those impacted by a mistake described above. Looking at just this new detection, which itself is a fraction of all our security actions that take place, approximately 60 counts were false positives. This mistake was a result of human error. We worked as quickly as we could to identify and rectify it. We sincerely apologize for anxiety and uncertainty this caused. Wow, I cannot talk. Unbans began to occur within 24 hours of the first indication of this problem. Anyone has appealed against their ban subsequently been unbanned has received a direct response to their appeal indicating that the reversal excuse me. We have several ways of detecting cheating in Destiny 2. Those unbanned were those affected by specific error mentioned above. If a player finds themselves banned in the future, they were detected by one of our other methods. We can confirm that a lot of misinformation being passed around regarding why a person may be banned or unbanned. In instances when unbans happen, players who were knowingly cheating insert themselves into these conversations to try to get their own bans overturned. Please utilize our ban appeal process so you can follow up with the individual accounts. Weapons, I am your father. System design teams, probably. Look, there's no denying Destiny has some pretty sweet tools for Guardians to kick butt and take names with. Some flashy purple magics, awesome to all helpful divinity for support. There's seemingly endless line of badass gadgets in our Guardians arsenal. Our weapons team has been talking a lot about different weapon changes and philosophy. And now they are back to tackle some of the most asked questions we are regarding that pew pew power. Here to chat is a few of our members of our weapons team, including test engineer Taylor, design intern Alex, designers Brandon and Vivian, associate designer Mercules, senior designer George, and senior design lead Chris Proctor. Let's jump right into those questions, team. General questions. When the full auto setting arrives for all weapons, are you still going to keep the full auto trigger system mod as an option? It's kind of nice to have flexibility without making every weapon full auto. Yes, there are no plans to remove it. The full auto trigger system mod isn't going away. That will replace full auto trigger system on exotics that have it as a perk when the new accessibility feature goes live. Wait, we're going full auto? What? All right, we don't want to advertently make these stronger in PvP. So the goal here was to replace full auto with something fun, thematic, but useful in PvE and then PvP. Here are some examples. Traveler's Chosen. Replace full auto trigger system in the catalyst with surplus. Vigilance Wing. Replace full auto trigger system with the catalyst with a symbol. No time to explain. Replace full auto trigger system with feeding frenzy. Ooh, okay. Wow, those guns are going to be broken now. Note that the encounters are built around these players having access to be able to weaken as many folks have their eyes. We don't believe Divinity in its current form is actually a balance problem, i.e., it's not necessarily too strong in isolation. That said, Divinity is incredibly dominant in in-game PvE because it trivializes aiming precision weapons and has an extremely high uptime for weaken. The most important issue is that Divinity granting 30% weaken sucks the air out of the room for all the weaken sources, such as Tether and Tractor Cannon, and we don't want the power creep past Divinity to make them interesting. With this in mind, we've been looking at Divinity for a while now and have tested the variety of changes in Season 19 over the few months, landing reducing Divinity's weaken 30% to 15%. There it is, guys, the nerf. Comments on kinetic weapons and PvE. We're looking at the kinetic damage as opposed to the slot changes, sometimes post Lightfall, to make this a more interesting aspect of how weapons feel. What about Adept raid viability? As it stands, crafted base raid weapons are flat out better than Adept raid weapons. We're not happy with this current state and have changes coming to Lightfall that will give new Lightfall raid Adept weapons access to enhanced perks. Note, that is not going to be full freeform crafting. It's a little complex. So please look out for information to come when we're a little closer to Lightfall's release. Future plans for exotic champions or exotic weapons. Hold on, I'm going to go grab my charger. We don't have specific plans to add anti-champion mechanics to existing exotic weapons. The goal for recent additions was to address some obvious holes in the options available, and we're happy with how that worked. That said, we are building an anti-champion functionality into a new exotic weapon in Season 19 and may revisit other weapons later if we need. King's Fall weapons have unorthodox perk pulls. What are the team's feelings in continuing to making... Dude, how long is this? Holy. Okay. All right. We got to go. King's Fall weapons have unorthodox perk pulls. The team's feeling about continuing this to making custom raid perks indifferent to end-game rewards. We are guidelines for how spicy perk pulls can be depending on difficulty of the source of the weapon. For example, Trials of Osiris. Raid weapons get to break standard perk combination rolls. The King's Fall weapons push this to an extreme. We're evaluating whether they're an actual balance issue. Seems okay so far, though. We intend raid origin traits to make raid weapons feel unique and may still make one of our more perks that are exclusive to the raid. Starting in Season 19, you will see small number of non-raid weapons get access to perks from older raids. Oh, okay. Does Outbreak Perfected truly have persistence, or is it simply recoil settling like any weapon? Outbreak does not have persistence. It does have 90 recoil direction, where similar weapons are in 40 to 60 range. But more importantly, its recoil is like an auto rifle, not a pulse rifle, which is part of why it feels so unique. This was a Destiny 1 bug that was elected to maintain in the Destiny 2 reprise of the weapon. The cold denial that Xur sold with the accuracy masterwork, does that actually improve accuracy? Oh, they're kind of just answering question here, guys. You guys can kind of read the rest through it because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. We kind of read a lot of it. If you guys see anything that's nice, That's pretty much. Yeah, I don't want to go too crazy with it, guys. What is this all about? It's a numbers game. You guys can look at all that. Bows. Okay. Grid skipper. Okay, they're just asking. How do you feel about seasons 17 and season 18 balance changes now that we've been in the wild for a decent amount of time? We think most have landed pretty well. All things considered, high impact 140, 150 RPM scout rifles probably got over buffed by a small bit. Auto rifles probably didn't get buffed enough. We've seen both precision frame scout rifles and hand cannons come up to usage and effectiveness. What future balance changes should you be looking forward to? Sizable stability bump to auto rifles and trace rifles. Small buff to critical hit damage to pulse rifles and precision frame auto rifles. Slightly reduced effective range of pulse rifles at low to mid stat values. Thank you. Those things are broken. Nerfs to the Jade Rabbit and No Time to Explain. Ease of use. Continuation. Lord of Wolves rework. Small rocket launcher blast radius. Glaive damage resistance nerf. Sidearm aim assistance. Fall off buff. Sniper flinch rework. Very small tweaks to submachine guns that are outperforming their intended ranges. Small decrease to high impact scout rifle damage. Some outliers that have zoom levels normal than parameters are being brought back into line. Wrist runner PvP arc damage resistant reduction will still remain ridiculous in PvE. In Season 19, we have additional list changes that we'll be making, including removing some shotgun randomness, improved hit detection for glaives, reworking and changing nearly 20 weapon perks, reworking and changing 20 exotic perks. So that's next season, huh? Do trace rifles have bloom or hold down the trigger? Nope. Under pressure fusion rifles. I don't care about those. You guys can read about it if you want. I'm not much of a fusion rifle guy. Are there any other plans subclass verbs for more exotics? Are there any plans to add more subclass verbs to more exotics? Lots of plans, nothing concrete to share now, but on the lookout for places where we can add subclass verbs, where we can be cautious on some of the intrinsic functionality of the verbs may actually be worse than what the exotic weapon or uptime of the verb exotic weapon would cause several balance issues with the subclass interactions. Will skill-based matchmaking be present in control have any effect on the way we handle weapon balancing? We already use survival and trials as a more indicative game modes for balancing purposes. Survival has had skill-based matchmaking, and Trials has a flawless pool, which enables to see what good players use and what is effective when they are more likely to care about winning. It will, however, allow us to see what different skill groups of players that are generally to avoid survival and Trials use, and what they are effective with and what they are not, and skill pools that are as mixed as control can to be. I cannot read right now. Sniper rifles, linear fusion rifles, flinch. For sniper rifles, we dramatically increase the time it takes for the reticle to reset back to the center after taking damage, which in playtest has seen a marked decreased amount of times players are able to shoot through the flinch. We also greatly decrease PvE flinch to encounter this. This will not prevent players from trading with sniper rifle on their first shot, nor will it hurt players using sniper rifles who disengage to allow the reticle to reset before peaking again, but should hopefully address the instances of hitting someone using a sniper rifle with multiple crits only to get sniped through it. Okay. High caliber rounds, blah, blah, blah. Box breathing, you guys can look at it. Twitchcon. I guess there's a new emblem at Twitchcon. At Twitchcon, come chill. Bungie Foundation is heading to sunny San Diego for Twitchcon 2022 from October 7th to October 9th, located right on the purple carpet. As part of the donor drive charity arcade, stop by and say hello. Visitors will have a chance to take home an exclusive Bungie Foundation TwitchCon pin, as well as a brand new Destiny emblem. One thing to note, though, is that these emblems are first come, first serve, so be sure to stop on by as soon as you can if interested. First come, first serve emblems, guys. New emblem. Go get it. The future of Destiny 2 on Stadia. Let's read this. While we have nothing to announce today, we have been in active discussions about the future of Destiny 2 Stadia accounts since Stadia's announcement last week. They will not be shutting down in January 2023. Once we have a plan of action, we will share more details on Destiny 2 message TWAB posts on Bungie Help. Known issues. That's pretty much the TWAB, guys. For Destiny 2. You guys can see the art, the artist this week. Montage, movie of the week, right? Artist of the week and stuff. I think they like the art better than the videos. Oh, that's pretty sick. That's dope. All right, let's see what he has to say on his last thing. You guys could, I'll go through it one more time just so you guys can see again. And that's a wrap for our latest TWAB-tastic adventure. Hopefully the update about account bans is as the investigation into improved practices ease some worries. That the nifty questionnaire with the weapons team has been interesting to develop. We hope to enjoy it. We're inching closer to the Festival of the Lost with all the spookiness that entails. Bring out the masked guardians because it's almost that time once again. We'll have more on that later, TWAB. But for now, drink that water. Prioritize self-care, and remember, always lead with the kindness foot forward. Until next time, friends. I should go. Hippie. Alright, guys, that's going to do it for the TWAB. We're going to look through it one more time so you guys can see. You guys can pause it, if you want to read. Like all these Q's and A's. Pretty much we know what's going to happen. A lot of these guns are going to get nerfed in PvE, Divinity. The pulse rifles are going to get nerfed. The scout rifles are going to get nerfed. A lot of stuff coming. A lot of nerfs coming in Season 19, I believe. Because a lot of this stuff is just overpowered, Look at... It shows you what Zen Moment does. There's just a lot of stuff. A lot of people asking questions. Shows you how the perks work. Yeah, aim assistance. Talking about aim assistance and stuff. The game's going to be feeling way different next season. It's still in, they're still trying to make it as the best game they can make it, Yeah, so they don't even use control as they're balancing issues, even though control's sweaty. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Peace out. See you guys in another video. Peace.